Good morning. I'm just getting started. It is still very early in the morning, as you can see. It is barely light, but I'm already on my bicycle and I'm going to take my wonderful little morning ride. And if you have time to listen to this, you should consider yourself fortunate because you get to listen to somebody who is listening to himself. And I am very sure there are not that many people who do this. As a matter of fact, I haven't met anybody. And yes, occasionally there is somebody who more or less shows some interest. But I haven't really met anyone who persisted, like I have persisted, in continuing to listen to yourself, in continuing with what I call embodied language. Yeah. Here I'm riding my bicycle down the street here. It's a wonderful, cool morning today. And I've slept really nice. And I've worked really hard actually the last couple of days. It's been busy. I work full time in a big store, in a big supermarket. Or supermarket, yeah, you could say, yeah, supermarket, department store. There's a lot of everything actually. And that's where I have my retirement job. It's very honorable work. I am demonstrating different products, mostly food, and people can have a free sample. And people just really like to they just really like to get these free samples. It is just so hilarious to see everybody as if they are as if they're malnourished or something. But in any case, I get to meet a lot of people, and I get to see all of Chico that comes to shop there, and I get to see also a lot of people from my past who I haven't seen anymore, but somehow they all come shopping there, so I still get to see them, and they don't recognize me. That's interesting. That's such an interesting thing. I always recognize everybody, but nobody seems to recognize me. Yeah, that's the story of my life. Not that I feel so incredibly bad about it. I have, but I don't anymore. Yeah. Okay. Just gotta be careful. There's an old lady walking here who's also going to cross the street. Good morning. How are you today? Hi. I've seen this lady many times on my ride. She always greets me very nicely. And it's just interesting to see that there's only a couple of people that go for that morning walk. I mean, yeah, I'm sure there's many people who are in the situation to do that, to go for a nice morning walk. What a nice start of the day, right? You get some exercise, you are outside, it is a beautiful morning, you hear the birds sing. But there's only one or two people walking outside of this whole town of thousands of people. And of course there's me. And I'm holding a phone in my hand and I'm talking with myself. And I'm letting you know how unique this is and how special this is, and how incredibly important this is. Because if you do not listen to yourself, and that is of course what you are used to disembodied language, you are used to the way of talking in which you don't listen to yourself. It's strange that that is what you have, good morning, what you have accepted as normal. And it is not normal. It is abnormal. It is problematic. And you are experiencing the trouble of your way of dealing with language in which you do not listen to yourself. And I can make this video, I can talk the way I do because I have the outcomes, the consequences of my embodied language in which I listen to myself. And that's how I can be this person who is so happy, so peaceful, so joyful, and so understanding also. Understanding of everything that's wrong in this world. Because, let's be clear, everything that's wrong in this world is wrong because of how we talk. And it's always he said, she said. That's the basic principle upon which this world turns. And if you don't listen to yourself, if you are only busy with trying to make other people listen to you, or if you are so conditioned that you are only listening to other people, you never listen to yourself. You are always busy with other people. And so, that is what's going on in this world. I see an animal sitting there in the field. Do you see it? Can you see it? Is it a cat or is it a coyote? It could be a coyote. It could very well be a coyote. It looks like it could be a coyote. I've seen a coyote here up close, like 20 meters away. And you hear them also. You hear them at night. You hear them howl. They sing beautifully. It's a wonderful sound. I like it. I like to hear the coyotes sing. Yeah. And it's interesting to see how these animals have their way of communicating, and how human beings are so incredibly messed up because they do not listen to themselves. It's so absurd. It is so absurd that we talk and yet we are just pretending. We're just pretending to talk. And then also we listen, but we're not really listening. We're just being obedient. We're just being afraid to be punished. We are trying to avoid, problems. We don't want to rock the boat. We don't want to seem impolite. Or we don't want to show our real face. And so we pretend to listen, we pretend to speak, but we're not really speaking, we're not really listening. Because if you really speak, you listen to yourself while you speak. Good morning. Thank you. And there's no other way. And wow, And yeah, you can say, okay, you're talking about this again. Yeah, I'm talking about this again. I talk about this every day. And I don't mind. Because I don't have a mind. I like to talk about this topic because this is my topic. It is something that I have discovered. And yeah, if I can, I do not know if I can, but this is a really big issue. Not just for me, but for everybody. Everything depends on whether you listen to yourself while you speak. And if you don't do that, oh my goodness, there are so many problems that are caused by this. It is just insurmountable. And you don't even know it. So, yeah, that's probably also the reason that you don't want to know about it. And that you just want to make it seem as if everything is okay. But it is not. And I'm not trying to stir the pot here. I'm not trying to rattle your cage. I'm not trying to yank your chain. No. I'm simply stating an obvious fact. The obvious fact that there is another way of talking than the one you're used to, the one you are familiar with, and the one you are expecting, the one you're always involved in which you don't listen to yourself. And that is what this is. Yeah, you better have a real good look, a real good listen. Because what am I talking about? Yeah, I go for a little walk here. It's kind of nice. It's such a nice, calm path here. Look, it's on the outskirt of town, and you get the view of the hills. It's a nice path that I like to go on every morning. You see the sun is behind the hills, and I'm just walking here by myself with just one occasional person who is walking his dog or something, or a jogger. But other than that, there's nobody here. It's just nice and quiet. And even though sometimes I don't say anything, there's still a lot to listen to. And I hope you hear that. And even though there's no action, like action in the movies, there's a lot of action going on here, which you don't usually pay attention to. So just have a look. What am I doing? Or perhaps you should say, what am I not doing? So that I can do this. In a little while the sun is gonna come up there. A while ago, when it was still springtime, this path was full with crickets. This whole field was full of crickets. Yeah, if you listen closely, if you pay attention to what is happening, what are you hearing, then you feel what it is like to be here with me. Oh look, there's a little bench. I'm gonna sit there for a little while. Gonna sit there and just talk a little bit more. Show you. This is the path that I will be going on. And this is where I came from. If you want to, you can also close your eyes. This is what happens when you have spoken with yourself, when you have listened to yourself, when you have said what you wanted to say, when you have heard what you said to yourself, when you have acted on everything that you said, when you have adjusted your behavior to this new way of talking, which I call embodied language, then you feel this peace, this calmness, this restfulness. And even though you are without language when you don't speak, your language enlightenment continues, because you can still at any moment speak if you want to, and your use of language, your embodied language, does not in any way interfere with your peace. To the contrary, it just enhances it. I'm going to open my eyes now again. You can also have this.